Hey folks, Cook and Lou here. Got a big treat for you tonight. Tonight I am going to take a back seat to being the chef, and I'm going to bring on my son, Chef Vincent Fasano, straight from Hollywood, California. Here he is, the composer extraordinaire here on vacation for the Thanksgiving holiday. He's going to make us one of his favorite dishes. Vincent, what do you got?
What's going on? I'm making a creamy prosciutto tortellini. This one's real easy and it's real good. I got these tortellini. I like the buccioni. I don't know how to say it. Buccioni bread. I like that one. That one's fresh. You got the olive oil. You got to make it, the creamy is the Alfredo sauce, like an Alfredo sauce, right? You got the locatelli, but especially the Parmesan you mix in there. You got a heavy cream. Sorry, the show here is that imported prosciutto. Don't get any of that non-imported crap. It's no good. Bacon, spinach, got the fresh parsley, the garlic, the onion, the seasonings. It's pretty good stuff. Let's
All
get
right.
moving on it.
So here we go. Let's get started, see how we do it.
So a bit of prep required. It's good to just get the spinach over with. This stuff is optional. I just like to put the spinach in there. Add some nice color, add some nice flavor, instead of just tortellini and bacon and whatever. So anyway, destem the spinach, wash the spinach. It says they wash it on the package. You never know what they do to these things. So good to do the prep. Have the onions chopped up, the garlic. But the first step of this whole thing for me anyway is frying the bacon. I think it's good to just get it over with. It's greasy, it's kind of a little messy, so just do it all in the beginning. Just frying this prosciutto and this bacon. Make sure you get this thin cut bacon. You don't want any of the thick stuff because you're going to crumble it all up. And it's a little annoying to do that with the fat stuff. So get the thin, traditional, regular, none of the apple smoke, you know, just, I mean, I guess you could, right? But I like the regular. You don't want to taste all that kind of stuff in there. So that's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to fry some bacon. However much you want. It's your dish, right?
Hey folks, Sous Chef Lou here. Gonna check in on Chef Vincent and see what's happening with his bacon here.
All right, so we're crisping up this bacon. We want it pretty crispy. You don't want it too flimsy because you got to crumble it up. So I'm going to make about 8 pieces to crumble up. I'm going to make the rest of the bacon to have tomorrow. And drain it on this thing here. All right, let it sit so it can actually crisp up. And this bacon fat is actually pretty good because we can fry this prosciutto right in that bacon fat. And get that a little crispy too. This one is going to be a little different because you want it like half crispy, some not so crispy. This just adds a little variety in there, right? So if we're popping this on there, again, kind of a little crispy, a little not crispy. You can kind of play around with it. This crisps up very quickly, and you get something like this.
Beautiful.
All right, so we got our bacon, we fried that up. Now I am getting a decent sized pot. You want some weight to this pot. You want some depth to this pot because all this stuff's going to go in here. The tortellini, the crumpled up bacon, everything is going to go into this pot. So after taking some of that bacon grease, you could just do it straight in the pot. Add like 2 tablespoons of butter. I didn't mention that before, but do add 2 tablespoons of butter to that. And when we start to get that moving around, with the bacon grease, we are going to add our onion, go for about 5 minutes or until kind of translucent, and then we'll start to add our garlic. Garlic cooks a lot faster, so definitely add the onion first, then the garlic after. These onions are getting pretty translucent, pretty soft. We're going to throw in our garlic. I hit it with a little salt, I hit it with a little pepper. It never hurt nobody, and that'll help combining all this together. But this isn't going to cook too long. We're going to start to add our heavy cream and our seasonings, and we'll go from there. So onion and garlic, looking good. Salt and pepper. We're going to start to add our heavy cream. 1 pint is good, 2 cups. And we start to get that moving. So what we're going to do here is kind of combine all of this stuff. Let it work through, get to know each other. And we're gonna get this to a simmer. And then we're gonna add our spinach. A lot of these traditional recipes you find, this is a very traditional Italian recipe. You find these traditional recipes, they don't have spinach in it. But if you're gonna add spinach to it, I would add it when this starts to boil so it'll cook down faster. People are always scared to use a lot of spinach, but this thing goes down very quick. So use a bag of spinach, you know, and then once that looks small and tiny and condensed, which it's going to do, we'll kind of coat everything in there. You want all this stuff absorbed. You want it, again, get to know each other. And then I'm gonna start to add our cheese. Good. I'm simmering this for about 5 to 7 minutes or so. It's looking pretty good, but while we were doing that, we're also boiling the water because before we start adding all the cheese and all that kind of stuff, we want to get this good to go because this is the fast part now. It all goes very fast. So boiling water, so put the pasta in there. A pound is good, but you know, we're big people, we like to eat, and so we're doing about 2 pounds. I like to, you know, class it up a little bit. Some cheese, some spinach, tortellini, and then 7 minutes or so when this is done. We actually, more like 5 minutes. Right before this is done, we're gonna start putting it in here. So, all right. So now we're gonna add about a cup of this shredded Parmesan. All right, and we're gonna start to whisk it in. Get this guy out of here. You wanna make sure to really be whisking it because you don't want this cheese to clump. You want it to absorb in here. And you'll know it's gonna start to get very creamy. You know, some of these recipes, they call for a cup, they call for 2 cups. Just put as much cheese as you want. The more cheese, the thicker it gets. But when we start to drain this pasta out, we're gonna add a little bit of the pasta water in there so it'll start to loosen a little bit. All right, nice handfuls of this guy. Hey, make sure to wash your hands. My hands are all over these things, but I wash them. So,
And if they don't like the fact we use our hands, eat somewhere else.
eat somewhere else, come on. This is all hands-on, eyeballing, loosely following some recipes and stuff like that, but that's how you make it your own. A little bit more of this guy, and then taste everything. Take a while. We're going to start to kind of drain this pasta here and start to add it in. I turned the heat down real low. We were simmering it anyway, and so we're going to start to add this. This is just about done. This is al dente, we'll say. This is al dente. We're going to start to add all this in here, and once we're done with that, we're going to start to add our seasonings. Don't forget about the seasonings. It's the most important part. Please. We're gonna add our seasonings right after. We got the fresh parsley, we got oregano, we got basil. You could add a little red pepper if you want. All right, so we just tossed all this stuff in here. All right, we got it incorporating. We're just kind of folding it in. You don't want to mix it too crazy or anything because you don't want to break the tortellini. So we got all this mixed in. This is just cheese tortellini. These green ones are cheese and spinach. But feel free to do what you want to do with this meat tortellini, chicken tortellini, whatever. But get these in tortellini. Okay, and don't be shy on the cheese either. You know, we added a lot, but it's definitely good. This is a cheesy, creamy dish. Okay, so now we're gonna take our seasonings. We chopped up some fresh parsley. And we're just gonna start to throw that in there. And that'll incorporate fast. I like to leave some for garnishing afterwards. Take some oregano. And take some basil. Fresh basil works too. I couldn't find any, so we'll just use this. I like to do this after the fact instead of during it, because a lot of times these seasonings burn real fast. And since we're working so fast here, it's good to just start to really incorporate it all at the very end. And then after we're done doing all that, we crushed up our bacon and our prosciutto. You know, these other recipes, they also say to use pancetta, all that kind of stuff. That's good too, you can use pancetta, but I don't really like pancetta as much as I like bacon. So at this point now, I would add all this in and we'd start to incorporate the rest. But we got some people that don't eat bacon and they don't eat meat. And so that's why we're adding some spinach and stuff. So I'm gonna keep it off to the side like I did. And I'll add it to my own bowl. So that's what we got.
Plate it up.
All right, so for me, yeah, let's start to add some of that in there. See, this is the beautiful part. You start to incorporate all that. It gives it a real nice color. All right. All right, this is what it's looking like plated. Add some of this cheese, some Italian bread, and you're good to go. That's that creamy prosciutto tortellini. Buon appetit.
Ciao, babies.